Hello and welcome to another edition of Loyalty Live on Loyalty360. I'm John Diether. In this series, we talk to the leaders in our industry about the technology, trends, and best practices that drive customer engagement and loyalty. Our guests provide practical solutions and expert advice on building and maintaining relationships with customers. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Sam Panzer, Director of Industry Strategy at Talon.One. Welcome, Sam. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much, John. Very happy to be here.
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your current role with Talon.One?
Yeah, you bet. So here at Talon.One, I lead our business value practice. So really doing things around program ROI modeling and thinking about what could the commercial impact be of trying new things with our customers. We work with brands like Adidas, Eddie Bauer, River Island, Live Nation Ticketmaster. So mostly kind of enterprise, skewing more towards the retail side of things. I've been with Talon for about 5 years, mostly in a customer success capacity. So started as just helping our customers launch their programs and their promotional strategies. Before that, I worked with shopping malls on their digital engagement strategy too. So kind of have a nice background in the retail industry, especially. But yeah, mostly kind of an ROI geek here at Talon.One about what is it worth to kind of change things in your program and how to how might that drive increased purchase frequency or more positive sentiment, those kinds of things.
Well, for our viewers who might not be familiar with Talon.One, you mentioned some of the brands that you support. What do you do for those brands in terms of helping them promote customer loyalty?
Yeah, so Talon.One itself is a promotion engine. So we have an incentives product that can stream in data from different sources. So it might be the customer session, the customer themselves in the CDP or the CRM, what's in their cart, financial data and margin data about items they might be looking at, et cetera. So we have a rules-based approach to building incentives based on those different data streams. And our focus is on keeping that real time and integrated throughout the customer's digital experience, especially, and we also do in-store stuff as well. But if you think about like a user moving around on an e-commerce website as a member, we want to show them value throughout that experience. So showing, might be member pricing or product labeling, personalized offers and discounts, things to kind of nudge them to increase their basket size to get to a new loyalty status, those kinds of things. So we really handle the evaluation of the incentives in the loyalty program. We also do some stuff that's not in a loyalty program. It's just incentives work or CRM work. Generally, we kind of try and bring those two things together and move loyalty in more of like from a passive points and tiers, earn and burn static thing off the side, and be a bit more kind of iterative and agile in terms of like the different incentives that are getting in front of your customers and your members. And again, kind of focused on being real time and really handling high API load to communicate that value in real time, so you don't have one of those annoying things where you don't see your pending points on your profile page for like 3 days or something like that.
Right. And now I see your tree in the background there. And the holiday shopping season, of course, is top of mind with most marketers right now. What are the latest trends and practices that you're seeing specifically with customer loyalty and rewards this holiday season?
Yeah, it's a fascinating year because we kind of had this very interesting kind of whiplash after COVID of, okay, inventory was really lean during COVID, so then retailers stocked way up and then consumer demand softened. So last year it was kind of, okay, we just had to move stuff and at the expense of margin and all these kinds of things. Whereas this year, the inventory reality has steadied out a little bit. And there's continuing challenge around like acquisition cost, sharper focus than ever on being profitable in the retail industry. So the overarching focus is how do retailers move on a path to profitability while still stimulating demand in a time when consumers are really, really deal seeking. So in the loyalty context, I'd say that the biggest kind of macro trend that we see is moving most of your promotional mix behind or into the loyalty program, so that you're only kind of giving things out when you're confident that you're set up for a long-term marketing relationship with that customer. So you see this in all kinds of different ways. I mean, I'm a big Target fan. I live in Germany and I miss Target a lot when I'm living over there. So I paid a lot of attention to what was Target doing on Black Friday, especially, and on their like main landing page for Black Friday, they had 16 different elements on that landing page, and 4 of those pointed to Target Circle member only benefits and discounts. So full 25% of their prime real estate for Black Friday was pointing users towards the loyalty program, because Target's confident that once you create an account, download the app, sign up for emails, whatever that is, they're going to be set up to market to you profitably long term. I think that most retailers kind of move beyond this idea of hey, we just run a 30% site-wide discount on Black Friday and get a nice bump in demand, and are really being a lot smarter about how do we show really, really strong value to customers without discounting ourselves into margin oblivion with kind of site-wide discounts for customers that are only going to buy from us once or only when we give them a 30% discount. It's kind of using the loyalty program as a vehicle to set up this long-term profitable relationship, and moving most of your promotional mix behind the loyalty program, and kind of using the loyalty program more as like a active, iterative vehicle for personalized, targeted offers.
Well, this holiday season, do you or can you suggest any creative ways besides points for rewards that businesses can reward its most loyal members?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that loyalty programs are really good at this for a couple of reasons. The first is that loyalty programs are really good at leveraging efficient rewards where the perceived value of a benefit is greater than the financial cost to the business. So like the really classic example in loyalty is empty seat in first class, and moving a good loyal member who's in premium economy up to first class doesn't really have financial costs, but it's really meaningful to the member, right? So I think that in terms of like the creativity, I think a lot of the work that I do with our customers is trying to think, what are the efficient and meaningful things you can do for your customer that have a higher perceived value than a cost to the business. So that's one big area. So a lot of our focus with customers is on like partnership driven benefits. We have one customer who I really love in the US, Built Rewards, which it's basically a credit card scheme, but you can also earn points by paying your rent. And their entire program is really partnership driven, and their target consumer is mostly an urban millennial renter, Gen Z as well, of course. And the benefits for that are really kind of targeted towards that persona. So it's like Hawaiian Air flights, Soul Cycle, spinning classes, those kinds of things. And because those have such a high emotional value to the member, they have a pretty acceptable financial cost to the business, because they're just so darn meaningful to customers. So that's a big part of it. Otherwise, I mean, the exact way that you structure your offers is really, really important. And this is the kind of thing that there's really good academic research on. Like if you're doing a buy one, get one for a discount, like is it better to do you get a discount on the cheaper item, the more expensive item, or blend it across the two? And there's tons of it's kind of like in the small margin optimization, but these can make a really meaningful difference if you're able to be really, really intelligent about how exactly you structure your deals. Because consumers, obviously, if you ask consumers what they want, they're going to tell you that they want 30% site-wide discounts. We as brands can't really afford to give everybody a 30% site-wide discount. So it's kind of like, how do we still deliver things that are meaningful to the customer, but contribute to, especially in the retail space, larger baskets, more frequent purchase, full price items wherever possible. So like if you go back to Target, for example, on Black Friday, on their Black Friday landing page, tons of the stuff they were moving was full price. It was just like affordable everyday items, which I think is brilliant. So kind of taking a more intelligent approach to how are we showing value, and not just being discounts on your entire purchase, but rather kind of showing users things that nudge them towards additional purchases, bigger carts, those kinds of things. So just being really strategic about why are you running a promotion, what's the best way to structure that promotion to drive a positive result for the business while still being really meaningful and positive to the customer.
Thank you. From a corporate social responsibility perspective, during the holidays, we often see, as we've seen again this year, that rewards are tied to certain charitable contributions during this time of the year. Are you seeing any specific examples of how brands are tying the loyalty in with charity? And is that going to give you these brands a lift in engagement? Is it realistic to expect, especially during these economic times, a lift in engagement from tying in the charitable causes?
Yeah, there's a lot in this topic. I mean, first off, there are brands where there's a really, really, organic way to tap into CSR elements and to communicate in their program. If you're, using organic materials to kind of celebrate how many acres of organic cotton you've helped produce. So to kind of celebrate like that you're on this journey together in your CSR work. That's definitely one big part of it, is like if your brand does good work in this, use a loyalty program as a chance to say that, this is you, like you as the customer have helped us do this, and really kind of celebrate their contribution to the business's ability to drive CSR work. I've seen some really clever stuff. So Pangaya did a really clever thing on Black Friday where you could get a 25% discount if you donated $10 to one of 4 environmental charities that they provided. So you needed to donate to get the best discount. I have some qualms with how they structured it, because like it didn't feel like the brand was necessarily going on that journey with the member, and I think that, or the customer. I think that's super, super important. Is like a lot of times it feels like brands are just kind of saying, I don't know, like yeah, if you do a sustainable thing, that's good, and we'll celebrate that. But I think it's really important to kind of feel like you're in it together. And moving towards things. So like, Adidas in their Audi Club program, they have the Run for the Ocean thing they do pretty regularly. Where it's like, Adidas is really kind of sponsoring and going along with you in this. So, that could be matching donations, it could be facilitating events for a specific cause, just showing you kind of how your support of the business helps us do interesting, sustainable, or whatever the social cause is. I would say that, it's interesting if you look at like what customers actually say they want from brands, and like why consumers make choices of brands. The Boston Consulting Group in the run up to Black Friday did release some really good research in this question, and I think they asked like, what are the most important criteria that influence your decision on holiday shopping events this year? The biggest one is just deals and value for money, and majority customers list that. Sustainability and ethical considerations, I think we're at 11% of consumers say that that's important to them. So you just have to be honest that consumers aren't necessarily expressing that much interest in this, and there's always going to be a massive they do gap in consumers saying what they want versus what they actually do, based on if you give them what they say they want. So it's a really tricky one, but I mean, I think that loyalty programs are a good vehicle, again, to kind of to go with the user, to move with the user towards a shared goal is probably the most interesting and legitimate way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Turning to personalization, as you know, personalization is always vital in loyalty programs. Are there opportunities right now during the holidays to actually for brands to pick up their game when it comes to personalization and sort of create memorable holiday experiences? It seems like this is a perfect time of the year to do that.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think that a lot of it's also like, how do you set yourself up to take your Q4 purchases and then, drive loyalty enrollments, collect data, get marketing opt-ins, so that you can then kind of come back to the member after the holiday peak and continue to market to them in a positive way. Personalization, it's the most like under delivered term in all of marketing. And I think that one thing that brands really struggle is like, okay, we kind of have this vision of like what personalization could look like for us long term, but it's one of those things where you really need like an evolutionary approach to like work towards the data completeness that you would need to really kind of do that big vision of where you're working towards in personalization. I think that if you can do things like understand what's the gifting behavior in your brand, then to celebrate that, okay, like if you're buying like a gift basket of beauty products, like that's probably not for you. So at least like in the comms to kind of celebrate that, hey, we're with this item that you bought, or with kind of your search history or your purchase history, to kind of show that like, we've helped you be a great gift giver. Those kinds of things, kind of bake that into like your CRM work and your email, or kind of whatever you're doing. I think that's kind of one easy win to really understand what are the journeys around gifting that your brand supports. And then to kind of, there's like this I don't know, like the psychological glow that you get as the brand if you help somebody give a really good gift. Like that's just kind of a warm, fuzzy thing that kind of breaks the typical like transactional buy some stuff and then use the stuff kind of paradigm most retailers are in. There's a lot to it. I mean, I think that we do a lot of kind of discovery stuff like, okay, what's like your current data reality? In our product is the focus always how do we kind of continually enrich the customer data to segment and target and then ultimately to actually do like dynamic personalization based on that. But it's an evolutionary thing for sure. So in like the short term, in the next 6 weeks or whatever, for me, it's mostly, yeah, kind of how do you kind of understand the gifting journey and just kind of freshen up your communications to celebrate that or tap into the positive emotions with buying and giving gifts.
And what about technology at this time of the year, whether it be mobile app, AI, virtual events? How do you think brands can really leverage the technology?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll just talk about the things that I focus on most, which is more on like understanding the thinking about like the data on like your like item data. So kind of understanding how do certain items pair together to deliver like interesting promotions and think kind of around like if you're able to combine high margin low price items with low margin high price items, bundle those together and deliver those in like a personalized way based on customer data. So I think that there's like kind of just understanding what's like the inventory landscape, what's like the affinity webs between different products to be able to kind of bring those to customers. That's one thing that I find really interesting. Obviously, there's lots on virtual events that you mentioned. We've got some customers that do some really kind of clever things around streaming or just video content. I've really been a keen observer. I'm not like a TikTok user myself, but the stuff that they're doing around TikTok Shop, I find is really interesting and just kind of showing, kind of connecting where the user's attention is into promotions and into items and into like loyalty enrollment as well. So in a loyalty specific context, of course, there's tons of angles for AI to come in on loyalty. It's not like we all want to set up a AI ML model just to actually decide what benefits to give. I think we still definitely want some human control over like what our incentives mix is in the loyalty program. But that's definitely a big focus for us, and plenty of stuff in our product roadmap to deliver that as well.
Well, what about after the holidays are over? What are some strategies you can recommend that brands can retain those customers they may have picked up during the
Yeah.
holidays?
Yeah, I mean, I think the foundation of it should be just like we were talking about earlier, to use the loyalty program as the vehicle for your most interesting, compelling offers, because presumably, your loyalty program is going to be the vehicle through which you're delivering your best CRM work, your best like personalized marketing is going to come through the loyalty program. It's a period, obviously, of a pretty high consumer intent. Of course, like much higher spend than the rest of the year. So to kind of take advantage of that intent and that spend to drive enrollment into the loyalty program is the foundation. For members who are already in, I think that like obviously there's tons of stuff in loyalty programs around like the tiers and the challenges users are working towards. So just to kind of really make sure that you're set up to see what's their proximity to interesting earning moments, or it could even just be point expiration events if you kind of want to do like the negative cognitive dissonance or cognitive operant conditioning side of that. But all these things of like, really make sure that all this moment marketing that you generate through the loyalty program, points, tiers, challenges, make sure that you're really prepared to like deliver messages on those in the new year. Obviously, it kind of depends on like what the actual structure of the program is. So, get members signed up, be prepared to take advantage of the moment marketing that your loyalty program supports you with. I think are kind of the most important things. I mean, users acquired during Q4 tend to have a higher lifetime value than users acquired during the rest of the year, especially because basket sizes, of course, tend to be a little higher this time of year. Yeah, just kind of think about like what's like the long-term profitable goal for our customers, and how do we be really smart about our investment in customers during Q4 and during like a really high promotional period like Black Friday, Cyber Monday that we just passed. and really make sure that you're not like chasing empty calories through discounts that are just going to acquire customers that maybe they'll come back next year for 30% discount, but they're not going to do anything in the next 11 months.
Right. Sam, do you have anything we've not covered? Any parting advice for brands for this holiday season? And let us know what may be next for Talon.One coming up in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the main two themes for me this year. The first has been really kind of work like getting back on the path to profitability, given kind of changes in the marketing landscape and acquisition costs and those kinds of things. So I think that's been like, one of the two huge key topics for us. And the second is like, I think there's been a really rapid maturation in loyalty around understanding that loyalty programs are data vehicles for like year zero and first party data strategy. So next year is the year that finally Google Chrome will kick the cookie bucket, and no more third party cookies in Google Chrome by the end of next year. So really entering like, it's been a story for 5 years of kind of the rapid loss of third party data, but next year is really where it feels like the rubber hits the road on that. And loyalty programs are so good about transparently collecting and using customer data. So asking customers for data, giving them a clear reason to share that, and kind of building the strategy of the program around like a data vehicle for the brand where you can, be really honest with members, like this is why we want this data and here's what's in it for you, so to say. So that's definitely our big focus, is like kind of evolving our customers' data strategy, especially as we think about how do we start to incorporate AI into your loyalty and promotional strategy. It's AI, of course, it's garbage in, garbage out. So you need really kind of clean, good data to work with, and loyalty programs are a really good vehicle to start to collect and use some of that data.
Well, thank you, Sam, very much for those insights. And a couple more insights we need from you. It's time for our rapid fire questions. We're going to go through a series of questions. Just let us know your first thing that comes to mind.
Great.
What is your favorite word?
Oh, great. So I live in Germany. German is a Lego language where they stick things together. So I got a letter this year that had the word Kurzfristen Energieversorgungssicherungsmaßnahmenverordnung in the letter. That's one word in the craziest language on earth. So that's probably my favorite one, because it's like, 32 letters long.
You may have to spell that for us.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your least favorite word?
It'd be something like synergy, just things that like business people kind of throw out there because they're like safe words to cover bad thinking. I mean, obviously synergies are real, but I get frustrated when we all kind of package our bad thinking in fancy language. That's the things that trigger me the most.
Well, what excites you?
As we head into the holidays, I'm back in the US right now. I mean, good food with my family is the thing that's most motivating and exciting. Maybe I should say a work thing, but that's the truth, is gathering my friends and family over really good food is what I live to do.
And what do you find tiresome?
Ooh, I think as a person, I have a major bias for action. If I want to do something, I do it full gas. If I don't, I struggle with. So it really grinds me down is like when there's alignment that something is worth doing, but we're just not doing it yet. Usually just a matter of prioritization. But I think just like this awareness that, hey, this is something exciting that we should be doing, and we're just not doing it yet. I find that like a really exhausting thing in a work environment, anyways.
And where is your favorite place to shop during the holidays?
Ooh, Red Wing shoes, the best boots on earth.
And what profession other than your own would you like to try?
Chef. I grew up wanting to be a professional cook until I learned how terrible of a workplace that is. But still dream sometimes about trying my hand in a professional kitchen, even though it's a terrible idea.
And what profession would you avoid?
Yeah, I mean, it got to be the same thing. So chef again. I mean, it's just I love cooking. It's what brings me the most joy. But I know it's something that's professionally pretty unsustainable.
And who inspired you to become the person you are today?
Ooh, my grandfather, he's a doctor, but he had like a library in his house that just had books on all kinds of topics. So I think being kind of being instilled with a intellectual curiosity from the cradle in my family. I think my grandpa embodied that the most, just reading random books about, I don't know, theology, woodworking, really just kind of random topics that he would just totally engross himself in. I found that really inspiring, and I try and do a lot of that.
What do you typically think about at the end of the day?
I got really geeky about sleep this year and got a Fitbit. So end of the day, I'm probably thinking how many hours I'm going to get. Is it going to be good enough rest? And then getting stressed about my ability to de-stress when my head hits the pillow.
And how do you want to be remembered by your friends and family?
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I mean, my love language is food. My sister-in-law just had a baby last week, so we were with them to kind of help around the house and stuff. I don't know what to do with a baby. I don't know what to say, but I know how to cook. So for a couple of days, I was just cooking, and I left them with a fully stuffed freezer of good things that they can heat up. The next stressful couple months that they have ahead. So hopefully, just facilitating good moments around food is the thing that I'll leave my family with the most memories with.
There you go. Well, thank you, Sam, for taking the time to speak with us today and share your experience and your expertise in customer loyalty. And we certainly look forward to hearing more from you and from Talon.One in the year ahead. And we'd like to thank everybody for listening and watching today. I'm John Deither.